Hello everybody and welcome to the Jumputi Hero 17 million downloads celebration. This is a themed ensemble event which, I don't know. Earlier this year, if you'd have told me this event was coming, I would have been skeptical because we don't have that many very well themed events, and this is supposed to be a big spooky event, and there's a lot of spooky characters. I've got to give them that. I've got to give them credit there. Some questionable picks, maybe. I mean, some people might say. Definitely based on the surrounding events. Definitely some interesting picks, at least. But it's got its strong points. It's definitely got its weak points. So we're going to go through them and discuss. So to start things off, if you want to check out any of this stuff in detail, the link as always is in the description to the entire news post. You can check it out for yourself and read at your own pace. First off, we have the 204,000 ruby giveaway. So 204,000 rubies is the key number because it is the equivalent of 1 million yens worth of rubies, which is a lot, obviously. Even converted to your local currency, you will realize that is a very high number. And they are giving this away 6 times. Free in this campaign here, this Twitter campaign, and free in the campaign which we're going to show later down the news post. And obviously, your odds are kind of slim. Historically, I don't know many people that have won like anything from these Twitter rewards. I have seen some people in our little community that have won like a Twitter reward here and there, especially when they've done like the smaller Twitter rewards that more people can get. I have seen those, and I think I've seen maybe 2 or 3 people get a limited. But this is a whole nother level, because the limited is normally like, what, 20 people get it? This is 6 total, free from the Twitter campaign. And yeah, obviously it's so many rubies. There's so many rubies. But you know, check out this tweet in the news post, and you can get a reward if you're lucky. If you are lucky, all you got to do is just retweet this tweet. Not that hard. For all those people that don't like getting involved with all the Twitter integration and stuff, I would highly recommend just making a throwaway Twitter account that you use for nothing more than campaigns like this, so you don't have to feel guilty about spamming people's news feeds or anything like that, because I get that the point of these is to promote the game outside of just its own community, to promote it to other people. Everybody who retweets it, if they have any followers that haven't played the game, it could be their first introduction to the game, stuff like that. I get it, but for some people that's just not really their thing, and I would highly recommend just making a throwaway Jumputi Twitter account, or whatever. You might have other games you play that you want to do stuff like this for, just so you don't miss out on any of these goodies because you like didn't click retweet or whatever. Definitely worth doing. We also have a ticket that they have given away today. This is the first day of the event. I'm recording this, and this ticket, there are 2 tickets actually, both just choice tickets. They're not like, I thought this one was a limited choice ticket because I misread it, because by the time I was putting in the news post I'd been awake for 20 hours, so it wasn't going great for me. But clearly they just had 2 different designs for the choice tickets and I misread it. These things happen. And this choice ticket has a slightly different pull to the one you're going to be getting from the standard proceedings of the event. And if you jump on Twitter, you can get this one now. You can get this one now. You go to this tweet on Twitter, and you just got to click the button in the tweet, and it will ask you to tweet out, and you will say yes, I want to tweet out. And then your tweet, if you go on your tweet, the same where there used to be the button, there was a video and there was a button underneath, there will now be a clickable link, and you will go to that and you will click run the game, and boom, it will be in your game. You might have to restart your game, but it will be in your game. And nice ticket. It is a nice ticket. It is definitely a nice ticket. I was somewhat fortunate because there's a few like 2021 characters in here, 2020 characters in here, some older characters. We've got Kugayuma there. He's from launch, so you know, it's a varied little mix. But characters like Marco, he came out this year, a very recent unit. Characters. Who else came out recently? Oh, struggling. Who else came out recently? Kanao came out this year? No, she came out last year, I think. No, this year? She came out recently. She came out. It was this year. It was this year. I'm sure it was. Ray definitely came out this year. Okay, there you go. There you go. Kanao might have been last year. I might be remembering that wrong. But anyway, it's irrelevant. Ukyo, another one this year. This year. So there's some good units in here. For me, I got lucky. There was only one I didn't have. But this does actually bring me to having only one missing 2020 unit. In the form of version 3 Kurama. So I've got to get Kurama. And other than that, my 2020's done, which is kind of nice because I've got a lot of tickets saved up for the next pool update already, which is good. But yeah, Ray, very nice addition to my squad. Very nice to have him. Now, as for who you should pick, it's kind of difficult to say because obviously it does depend on your account. Like if you've got any of these, that's going to affect who you would pick. I know a lot of people would be looking straight away at Yusuke to try and help them beat Ryzen. For me, that's not a go-to pick because I do think most people who beat Ryzen didn't use Yusuke. I know they probably use like limiteds and other stuff, but I feel like a lot of people did not use Yusuke. So just putting it out there, maybe that's not the strongest pick. That's down to you. I think Ukyo is a great pick for his support. I know that's kind of like a PvP thing, and everybody likes the PvP thing, but undoubtedly a great support. We can't lie. And I don't know. There's quite a few good ones. I've always really liked Taikobo as a unit, as a support, and as a frontline. But just avoid characters like Kugo Yuma, who have been in the game since launch. Much older unit. Not worth wasting a ticket like this on. And realistically, you should be more focused on characters from 2021. But any characters you have from here that came out in the last like 10-15 events, probably go for them instead of going for some of the older ones, because the other ones are available in other tickets. So I would say Ukyo, and I think Kanao did come out last year, but Ukyo and Ray, and whoever it was I said up here that came out this year, go for them. Marco, that was it. go for them because they're not going to be available from choice tickets and standard gacha pools for longer than these other ones that are already available. So that's my input. Login bonus, it's just rubies. Nothing special here, but we're not complaining. We like rubies, so that's cool. Daily mission, again, very straightforward. Just 50 stamina for clearing 3 stages. This is, you know, we get this in a lot of events. And again, not complaining. Love the extra stamina. This, I don't know how much I said about it in the news post for the last Ensemble event, which had a similar collaboration. In fact, almost identical collaboration between Jumputi Heroes and Mirative. But I've kind of gauged everyone else's opinions on this. Not just mine, because I do have my own opinions on this. I think it's garbage. I think it's great that they're giving us 1700 rubies, but the fact that it's locked behind a collaboration with this app that fucking sucks, and you're forcing all these people to just like spam their streams on this website or on this app, and they're also like spamming links on Twitter and stuff, and it's just like, I don't know. Some people are having a bit of fun with it, and if you do have a bit of fun with it, more power to you. And if you're just the people that are doing it to get the rubies and you're just, you know, fuck it, I'll just do it anyway, again, more power to you. But it's just, for me, it's a bit lame. It's a bit lame because the time commitment, however small, and it is small, but they're asking here for what, like 15-minute streams, 7 15-minute streams. So on top of the normal amount of time you'd put into Jumputi Heroes, during this event, they would also like you to do like another what, almost 2 hours of, I mean, you could just do it while you're playing the game normally, but just tedious for me. It's just tedious. I don't know. Everyone obviously entitled to their opinion on this, and it's fine. It's fine. It's just I don't really like this, and I get the impression that there are a lot of other people that don't really like this, don't really enjoy these kind of campaigns. And I just hope it's not something that they're going to continue to do constantly. I don't know if they've made some kind of deal with the app. I don't know whether the app is owned by the same company. Maybe Lion owns the app. I don't know. But yeah, it's not it's not great for me. Not great. Rubies are nice though. I might do one stream on this for the sake of getting the 500 rubies. And then that be that. And you also don't get the rewards until like after a month has passed or something. Like you get it much later. And I do kind of feel like if you're doing this, you kind of want the rubies for this event, because you might want to summon for units in this event. Yeah, whatever. Whatever. We have the Hunt Down the Mastermind event, which is, I'm not gonna spoil it in this video. We do know who the Mastermind is, and if you've been in Discord, then you know. And there's a slight underwhelming element to it, but I won't spoil it here. If you really want to know, go to the Jumputi Discord, link in the description. But yes, this event is going to let us know who the Mastermind is. It's going to give us the facilities in order to work it out for ourselves. You get these clues from doing, where is it? These missions are very, very straightforward this time. Does not even require you to take part in all of the content. You don't have to farm Sabito to do this. And all the characters you do have to get, you don't even have to farm them. You need one copy of each of them and just max that out, or get that to max level, max rarity. And then you've just got to farm these points, and then that's it. You get the clues, and then you just look at them in game, and that will help you figure out who it is. Might be a little bit tricky if you don't know Japanese, because the clues will obviously be written in Japanese, but there you go. And if you want to know who the Mastermind is ahead of time, like I said, look in the Discord, because we're gonna put the answer there. We're gonna put the answer there after a certain period of time has gone past. I didn't really feel like spoiling it on Twitter, and I don't really feel like spoiling it on YouTube. I had already spoiled it on Discord. But yeah, I don't know. It was one of those things. It was kind of like the first it was kind of like the first anniversary, or no, second anniversary, was it? Second anniversary? First anniversary. One of the anniversaries. One of the anniversaries, there was a data download, and I remember being really excited for it, and then we looked inside it and we were like, yeah, that's a bit underwhelming. But it's cool. I mean, there's some cool stuff here. It's a bit underwhelming. And that was kind of the same here. I think sometimes Jumputi does build up the tension, build up the hype a little bit too much, and then when the event actually comes, you realize they've already showed you everything they're gonna show you, pretty much. Like, there's not really any secrets there. And I know you could say, oh yeah, but the data downloads and stuff, but like in this one, they held out on the data download till after they had announced everything, and it was still underwhelming. So, not my fault this time, guys. It is not my fault. But yeah, basically you've got to work out who the Mastermind is, and you've got to stick it in the line chat with the official Jumputi Heroes account prior to a set date. Prior to a set date, which I believe is the day before this event goes live. So make sure you submit it before the 9th. Did I write that down here? I hope I did. That date might be wrong. Submit it before the 9th. That's what it seems to say on there anyway. But yeah, just submit it. And you get your reward, which is a special stamp. Right? Special stamp? You get a special line chat stamp. Special stamp? No, not even line chat, just in-game chat. And a multi-ticket! Woo! But also you get into the prize draw, as we mentioned before, for the 1 million yen worth of rubies, which is the big prize. Kind of want it, obviously, but I would just like to see somebody that I am aware of, somebody in the community get it, even if it's not like an English speaking player. If it's somebody like one of the Japanese players that is like a known member of the community, like I've seen lots of their stuff on Twitter, hey, that's cool, because then it gives it more like authenticity. Not that I feel like they're not giving out these rewards, because I know they are, but it feels better when you know the actual player that's getting the reward. So yeah, and this is where you get the other ticket. So you've got to finish these missions here, and you get 1,700 rubies from finishing these, and they're very easy missions, guys. So make sure you do them, and you'll get this second choice ticket, which is separate from the one we got on the tweet, and that one is down here. I've actually messed up the whatever. This one, quite nice. Just like the other one, quite nice. And once again, one character I am missing, so I'm looking forward to getting this one. Luckily this time the one character I'm missing is a 2021 unit, and that is of course Tsunade. Where is she? There she is. Tsunade, who I don't have. And this is actually the second time I think they've given out Tokiko for free. That's kind of weird. That's kind of weird, because she's a 2021 unit and she's already been given out for free twice. But if you haven't selected her yet, that's an opportunity to select her. And again, like before, go for the 2021 units. Tokiko, 2021. Gokudera, 2021. Tsunade, 2021. That's it. All the rest are available elsewhere. If you happen to have all of those, then just do whatever you want. If you happen to have all of those, I guess I can't help you. I don't know. If you wanted to know who to pick from the free, Tsunade, Tokiko, and... God, it's just one of those days, isn't it? I can't remember. Oh, God. Gokudera. I personally like Gokudera the best. Tokiko is still very strong. Tsunade is still decent standard gacha unit. I personally do like Gokudera's support. Quite cool. It's up to you. Do what you want. But yeah, another choice ticket. And there's some 2021 units in it, which makes it a pretty decent reward. And this other thing, the Pooty Secret Mission, this is another thing that I think, again, I'm gonna have to share in Discord. I will probably share on Twitter. So if you're not following on Twitter, link in the description. If you're not in the Discord, link in the description. Because we don't actually know how this one plays out yet. But basically, they are hiding these little pooty bubbles with the little logos on them. Little logos. with the characters on them that spell out a sentence. What the hell am I talking about? Little logos. The characters that you will assemble into a sentence, and that sentence will give you a task to fulfill. Now, based on the date at which we know this will start, which is the 10th, I think most likely this is tied into the final stage of the event. You probably have to do something on that stage, like bring a team of a certain color, or not put a character in a certain slot, or don't attack, or I don't know, something like that, in order to unlock this mission. And by doing so, you'll get this, which will be in exchange for an emblem, which does raise another question. What's going on with emblems? We're supposed to get the release of emblems during this event, but we haven't. And so now it's looking more like it's going to come out with the Otokojuku event. And then this event has seemingly no emblems present. The last event had loads of emblems. This one just has this 17 million downloads thing, which will give an emblem later. So what's that about? I don't know. Everything seems to get delayed with the updates on this game. They give you like a rough guideline of like, oh, we're working on this and this is going to come out, and you've got to respect it, because they do like go back and say, oh yeah, this one we said was coming out, we're still working on that, but it will come out later. Like they do review this almost every month. They go through all the stuff they're working on. I totally rate and respect that. But they're worse than me when it comes to making promises and be like, yeah, no, maybe not this time, because they have told us so many things that we're like still waiting on. And the worst one of all is the sprite reworks. So I don't know whether that was just like way more work than I thought it was going to be, and that's going to come out way later, whether they're hoping we've forgotten about it, whether they decided with the amount of work they've put into it that it's not actually worth releasing them as sprite reworks, but just as new units, which they kind of have. Like, certain characters just have got new units. Like if you look at Zoro, I mean, it's more on the Tier 1 server than the JP server, because on the JP server it's the 1.0 version of Zoro, but on the Tier 1 version it's just like post time skip Zoro and then limited post time skip Zoro. So, you know, there is a suggestion there, a small suggestion there, that maybe they've abandoned that idea. We will see. We will see. But for now, I mean, you know, of all the things that they say they're working on, I don't suppose emblems are the most pressing matter. Quality of life updates definitely are more important. Moving on. Moving on, because I'm taking too long with this. Way too long. Daily stage, very straightforward. And you also get a special ticket. Very similar to the Gekko Hitman Reborn daily stage, where you got a special ticket and they let you summon on this gacha, which is, again, almost identical. But you do get like various rewards and stuff. And obviously, as with any daily stage, it is worth doing, so make sure you do it. Then our first farmable unit, which is Sabito from Kimetsu no Yaiba. I can see why some people might be pissed here. I tried my best to defend some of the decisions made during 100 Fest, you know, because it was like, it was a celebration of protagonists, and it's like, it's cool to have free-to-play versions of the protagonists and whatever, and I really wanted Sabito to be in one of these events, and he's come, and he's a Transcendent class event, and to say he fits the theme is generous, because I mean, technically he's a ghost. Technically, and also technically he's from a series that has demons and stuff in it. I can see the argument, but it feels weak, and it definitely does add credence to the idea that certain events did get broken up into pieces at some point, so that they could spread the amount of units they had finished out over a longer period. Possibly there's a reason behind that. Maybe it's just like an altered workflow with the new producer, because they're going to be maybe putting more effort into certain places, or maybe they need more time to work on certain things. I don't know. There could be a number of reasons for it, but this seems like a somewhat weak choice, and I think that's been the general consensus. As cool as Sabito is, as much as I like him as a character, it's a weak choice. And the fact that he's not even one of the missions, you don't even need to clear him for this event. That's so strange. That's such a strange thing to do. But okay. As far as a Transcendent class event unit goes, how do his skills hold up? Oh my god, I just realized there's a spelling error on this. That's unacceptable. I put 2 D's in damage. How did nobody point that out to me? Outrageous. But yes, inflict 310% the damage to one enemy, and if the enemy has barrier, inflict an additional 60% damage. This is going to be helping with the stage that is coming up at the end of this event, the one that reveals the Mastermind. That is going to have a barrier, so Sabito will be helpful for that stage. But generally speaking, barrier almost never shows up. And even when it does show up, it can only show up on enemy-only stages, because so far, no playable character has had barrier as an ability. Hence why, even though he's a Transcendent class event, he has 310 plus 60, 370% damage, which is a lot for a Transcendent, because he's only ever going to be able to get that max damage off on like a very small amount of stages, and even this stage coming up most likely will never be reprinted, so it'll be good for this stage, and then beyond that probably not a lot. 60% attack boost unconditional is fine, immune to attack down is fine. He is going to be very good for this one and done stage, and then beyond that I don't see much use for him except just as attack down immunity, which I guess is good. If any other stage comes up with barrier, sure, I guess. The support, however, is what we should be looking at. Charge your Legend Summon gauge by 16%, reduce the number of turns of weakening for blue and green team members by 1. It's good utility. It's definitely utility that we will see getting used in the future, so fine by me. Fine support. Not a high priority unit for max luck though. Definitely not. Definitely not. And then we have the points event, which, while slightly different to some points events we've had before, because you're farming 3 different points of events. Wait, what? 3 different types of points, not just one. It's the same principle. You just farm the points at different times. Farm this one, then this one, then this one. And you can farm all 3 from the special class, but that's only once a day. And certain units do boost the points, so make sure to bring them along. Lennerly Lee is going to be the big booster for this event. But some of the 3 units, oh man, looking at this boosted units chart pisses me off. It pisses me off. Do you see Nube boosted? Do you see Yusuke boosted? Koenma, Ichigo. They are trying to be like, yo, look at all these spooky series, and they're definitely getting new units, and then they don't. It makes so much sense for them to get new units, and they don't. Outrageous. If I go on about it, I'll get angry. Because Nube, I can forgive Yu Yu Hakusho. There is not a plethora of Yu Yu Hakusho content left to adapt that would be worth adapting. I can forgive Bleach. Bleach has had tons of content. Last year, it was one of the biggest series for new content. Out of all of the series that got content last year, it had the most, or close to the most, out of the lot of them. So I can forgive it not getting as much this year, and I can forgive it not being present here. But Nube, Nube not getting new content after all, it hasn't had anything. It hasn't had anything, bro. No Legend Summon, no like Evolver, no new Gacha event, anything. Just throw me a bone, please. Please. Everyone else, it kind of makes sense they're here, like Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke are only really there because Sabito is there. That Midoriya is only there because of Tokoyami and Mina. Like Nora is only there because of Surara. And then the same with... Wait, hang on. Alan's there, but... Huh. Lennerly Lee's there. Alan's there. Where's the... Oh. I didn't notice that before. Okay. Guess the Earl's not boosted. I don't know. Maybe this is like the good guys, and then the bad guys aren't boosted. I guess Moria's not there. Weird, but fair enough, I suppose. Fair enough, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to rant. I don't want to rant about that. It's such a small part of this event. But yeah, just farm the points, bro. Just farm the points. Get your rewards. There's some good rewards in there. And you also have to farm these for the missions anyway. Get it done. Get it done. Gekko Moria. New Catastrophe class stage. Not necessarily a bad choice because, you know, one of the Shichibukai. It's part of the spookiest part of One Piece, Thriller Bark. He is the Lord of Thriller Bark. You can make many justifications about him being here. I think my only issue with One Piece being part of this event is because we literally just came off the back of a One Piece event, and in that event it felt like a little bit had been cut out of it. Like, we didn't get a new Killer, we didn't get a new Luffy. Okay, I didn't necessarily expect a new Luffy or a new Blackbeard, but we didn't get either of them. We didn't get Killer. It was like, okay, well, fair enough. You know, they cut back on the One Piece. That's fair. I mean, we've been saying they've been doing a bit too much on the One Piece, and then bang! One Piece, the next event. New Luffy, the next event. And Gekko Moria, a slightly less egregious pick than the Luffy, in my opinion. Other people may disagree. He's not my favourite anything from One Piece by any means. He's not even my favourite character from Thriller Bark. He's not even my favourite enemy from Thriller Bark. But it's fine. It's fine. Speaking of his skills, inflict 350% damage that ignores guard to one enemy. And if the enemy has guard, inflict an additional 45% damage. Not bad. Not bad at all. Boosted damage to guard. Okay. That's fine. For 3 turns, boost this unit's attack by 4%. That's really low. That's really low. If that was 4% for like a certain type, I could get that, but for just himself, that's really low. I guess he could be used as a hitter against guard stages, perhaps. That's a bit weird for me. The passive boosts this unit's ultimate attack damage by 17% if the enemy is DPS class. Reduce the number of bubbles required to create a skill bubble for this unit by 2. It's a bit specific, but at the same time, DPS, if you come up against a DPS stage, the fact that he is passively just going to require 2 less bubbles, bad. It's not bad, you know. He's going to be good for those stages. I rate it. It's not perfect, but he will have some limited usability. Let's look at the support. Convert 11 random bubbles to yellow. For 3 turns, boost the attack of yellow team members by 22%, 50% in tower. Not the first unit we've had like this. I'm a bit meh on this archetype personally. I think we are seeing more space for supports that simply boost, or, you know, just convert and boost or whatever. Units that are going to give a substantial boost and do like one other effect, because we are getting not just double tap in slot 1 but double tap in slot 2. There's potential for more setups than there used to be, so I get it. I get why that might be usable. I just wouldn't use it personally. But it's there. It's there if you want it. And if you were just going to use somebody that boosted attack, the fact that he also boosts, it gives you bubbles, it's alright. It's alright. I always find that units that convert set bubbles to a certain colour typically find more use, but there is an argument that in PvP, there's going to be a lot of block bubbles on the board on certain occasions. Converting random bubbles is more helpful in that scenario. Oh yeah. It's okay. It's okay. And a lovely costume for him. Lovely, lovely costume. Nice and spooky. Nice and spooky. A bit disappointing he's the only catastrophe in this event. A bit disappointing that we only got 1 limited in this event. But you know what? It's fine. I guess he's fine. If there's a problem in this event, he might be a symptom of it, but it's not his fault. I don't blame him. Okay? Let's talk about Mina, who is a Transcendent class event, which I suppose is fitting. I mean, when you consider the roles of certain characters in My Hero Academia, as much as I do believe Mina has got quite a big little... Wait, am I trying to word this? She's got her own little bit of popularity within the fan base, you know. So I get it. And I think her sprite looks amazing, by the way. Absolutely amazing. Especially for a Transcendent class event, you know. Very, very good. And I think My Hero Academia, the sprites are really coming through on Jumputi. So you got to respect that. But yeah, I guess for the role she plays in the story compared to other characters who are going to be, you know, they play a more substantial role, they're more likely to be gacha, they're more likely to be a more difficult event. I guess it makes sense for her to be a Transcendent class event. Why is she here? Beyond sort of like looking like an alien? Don't know. As far as I know, she's not, right? She just looks a bit different. That's it, right? I could be completely off base there. But like certain characters in My Hero Academia just have a different aesthetic. That's it. That's, you know, could be something to do with their powers, could be something to do with their upbringing, whatever. But it's not like, she's not a demon, she's not a ghost. I don't really get what, I don't get it. I don't get it. But cool. It's cool that she's been added. Questionable with her coming now, knowing full well that there is a My Hero Academia event in less than a month. Additionally, we just had My Hero Academia show up in another ensemble. Could be leading further credence to the whole events getting split up thing, because seemingly at least the Deku and the Tokoi, you could argue, are from the same arc. Yeah, weird. Weird, I guess. I know a lot of people are going to be theorizing, you know, if you look at Gekko Moria, you look at all the other characters that have shown up in this event, have there been any other characters that have been broken off that perhaps will show up later and haven't shown up yet? Is it possible that... Oh, I've gone too far. Is it possible that these boosters are actually indicative of cut content, and there was another Yusuke or some kind of Yu Yu Hakusho content, there was more Bleach content, there was something from Nube, and they had to cut something out of this event to make space elsewhere, or to fill space elsewhere? Is it possible? Is it possible that this event was originally supposed to be like a Halloween event that was supposed to be on the back end of like the 3.5 anniversary, but for some reason they had to put something else there, so this event got moved forward and it's like a kind of filling space type deal? On the cards, it's got to be on the cards. A bit disappointing, I gotta say, just to go back to this, Bleach 20th anniversary plus they're getting like a new chapter in Shonen Jump coming up soon, which I know there's no way the devs could have known that ahead of time, but it would have been so good to have a Bleach character here. It doesn't matter who it was, even if it was Don Kanonji, just because he fit the theme, it would have been nice. But whatever. Mina, let's talk about her skills. She's a recovery based damage unit. Inflict 338% damage based on this unit's recovery to one enemy. Cut your HP by 1% and for one turn. Weaken all enemies by 22%, 36% in tower. Not bad. For a Transcendent class event, really not bad. Weakening all enemies as well. I know people will say like, how often is that applicable? But it's okay. It's still okay. So I don't dislike it. For a Transcendent class event, I mean, she's definitely higher priority to Max than Sabito, so there's that. Passive boosts this unit's recovery by 20%, recovery based damager, so obviously that makes sense. I do like there's been more support for recovery based damage as time's gone on. When your HP is 55% or more before this unit's turn, convert one block bubble to yellow. Still not the biggest fan of that type of passive. It's okay. It's just, for me, not preferable to like a resistance or something like that. And then the support. 3 turns. Boost the ultimate attack damage of yellow team members by 18%. And for 1 turn, reduce the number of bubbles required to create a skill bar for DPS class team members by 3. We have so many supports like this now for various different matchups between type and class, and I'm not particularly hot on any of them. But there you go. I don't think her support's her strong point. I think she's a not awful frontline. The ultimate attack in particular is quite interesting because the 1 turn 22% weakening for a Transcendent class event is quite strong, and the recovery based damage is going to be pretty strong too, so not bad. It's not bad. Definitely higher priority than Sabito. And then next up we have what some people would consider unacceptable. Unacceptable. That might be a bit of a strong word, but the Millennium O from D Greyman, who is sort of like the big bad, the main man from D Greyman, and he is a transcendent class event, which is just awful. It's just awful. It doesn't make any sense to me. Definitely could have at least been an ultimate class event. Like, we already had 2 transcendent class events. There's no reason he couldn't have been ultimate. I mean, yeah, you could say he can't be catastrophe because there's no limited to counter him or whatever. But they've gone back to D Greyman a couple of times. You know, we got the Cross Marion last year, Standard Gacha, and the Transcendent class Alan, and we got the new Yukanda and the Transcendent class Alma Karma. Is that his name? I can't remember. But bro, they hate D Greyman. They love it. They've got, like, you know what it is? They got one guy on the team that's like, can we D Greyman, please? They're like, yes, you can have a Transcendent class event. It's like, God damn it. God damn it. I tried, guys. I tried. They're not listening to me. But after reading a small amount of D Greyman to try and get a feel for the character, to try and translate some things, yeah, he definitely shouldn't have been Transcendent class. He should have been higher. Like, with Sabito, bear in mind, this is the big bad of D Greyman. This is like the guy they're always trying to get. The good guys are always trying to get the bad guy. They're always trying to get him. He is the same type and same grade of event as Sabito, who showed up in 2 chapters, except in case you include the flashback for later. Maybe 3 chapters, maybe 4. That's unreasonable. Even if you're a Kimetsu no Yaiba fan, like myself, even if you love the character, like myself, that is awful, bro. That is awful. But yeah, happy he's in the game, of course. And even from the perspective of someone who's not particularly, like, you know, I don't know a lot about D Greyman. I'm not a super fan or anything. It's cool, more D Greyman content. Actually kind of got me a little bit interested in reading it, but I'm currently reading Otokojuku in anticipation of the Otokojuku Feature Festival, so I'll hold off on D Greyman for now. But let's talk about Earl's skills, shall we? Inflict 300% damage to one enemy, and if the enemy is afflicted by freeze, inflict an additional 55% damage. Not bad for a 99 luck lead, because 300% damage, admittedly not a lot. Even 355, it's like, I mean, it's okay. 355, yeah, it's okay. But the fact that it's additional damage to freeze, like, if you were planning on using, say, for example, Toshiro in your team anyway, then just putting Earl as 99 luck leads, you get a bit of bonus damage, because whoever you're fighting against is pretty much constantly going to be frozen, so you're constantly going to be doing bonus damage. Can't complain. The passive, reduce the number of turns of weakening for this unit by 2. Weakening is one of the most common debuffs, so that's good. Boost this unit's ultimate attack damage by 17%. Unconditional boost, that's good. Front line is pretty good. It's pretty good. And the support, convert 9 red bubbles to blue. 3-turn cooldown, that's why it's such a simple skill. It's okay. It's definitely okay. I mean, the 9 red bubbles to blue, there's definitely stages where you need specific bubbles changed, so we take that. Could this potentially be a new thing going forward, where we're just going to get one of these for every possible type combination? Red to blue, red to green, red to yellow, maybe heart to, or red to heart. I don't know, like, and then like one for each type, to each type. If that is the case, then that's good. That will definitely see use on certain stages. So hey, that is all right. And as far as the kit goes, as much as he's not going to be setting the world on fire, because he's not a catastrophe class, he's not like a super difficult stage, so it's quite easy to obtain, so they have to make his skills a little bit easier. Wait, what? They have to make it a little bit less impressive, I should say, to go in line with the fact that the event is easier. It's okay. He's okay. He's okay. And then the identity of the Mastermind. Ooh, spooky. The Mastermind has finally made their appearance, challenge various stages of this event. Additionally, you can earn ... question mark. This is a stage where you're going to be farming some stuff, and you've only got 3 days to do it. So good luck to you. Don't forget, you will have to do it, and this stage is going to be a little bit tricky. So prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. I don't know how you can prepare yourself without knowing what's coming. Make sure to get Sabito to max skill. If you're a new player, make sure to get Sabito to max skill, and that will put you in a good spot. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. And then the Spooky Summer Reprint Festival, which also includes Ryzen, but only for like a few days. But yeah, all these events coming back again. Yu Yu Hakusho must have been planned to be a part of this event. I swear. Like, you can make the argument that with Muyo stage, or what should I say, with Enshu stage, Enshu from Muyo and Roji, make the argument that that stage just sort of fit the themes. That's why it's there. But with all the others, bro, the fuck? What the fuck? Why ain't Yu Yu Hakusho get a new stage? One unit. One unit. Come on, guys. They must have some Yu Yu Hakusho stuff planned for some other point. It must have been moved to another event. I do wonder whether they've chosen certain events to bolster and certain events to sort of slim down. Maybe because certain units had to be cut for one reason or another. I mean, we don't consider this, but like, say for example, they had some units finished and then something happened with the rights to that series and it's like, we can't release that anymore. Like, I mean, this isn't a current example or a relevant example, but let's say with Act Age, they may well have had probably only one unit ready for that. But if they had that ready and then suddenly they were told, no, you can't release that because the higher up said they don't want to get involved in the situation because obviously whatever happens. If you don't know about it, Google it. With the writer of Act Age, we don't want to be a part of that. We don't want to be our name associated with that, so we're not going to release it. Then you've got to fill that hole, or you've got to leave a hole. That's your choice, you know? So if something on a larger scale happened, let's say, for example, a feature festival for a certain series, and then suddenly they were told you can't do it, that'd be a bit hard to deal with. So I will forgive them. I will forgive them for making this event a little bit smaller and a little bit of a mishmash. Pending the release of a new character from Nube. A new character from Nube would be nice. But anyway, the new limited, we have Nightmare Luffy. It's a rogue pick. Look, it does make sense within the context of the event, but if you were going to make an event based around spooky stuff, One Piece is not the first name that would come to your head. And even if One Piece was the first name that come to your head, Nightmare Luffy is bold. I don't know how this is going down with players in Japan. I don't know how to be honest, the response seems lukewarm at best from the English community, from what I've seen. I really like Nightmare Luffy as like an event unit, bro. not as a like catastrophe. Not catastrophe, limited, bro. He's a limited. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. One Piece just gets mad preferential treatment, and that's. I have always said, right, with One Piece, because it has so many characters, I can kind of understand. But Luffy's not a new character, dude. We've already got Luffy. Lots of Luffy. They're like, look, if you, let's say you put like Yusuke in here as a limited, and he countered Gekko Moria. Some people might have been like, well, why isn't it a Yu Yu Hakusho unit? Why is it Gekko Moria? But I think it would have been way more forgivable than having 2 more One Piece units And one of them is Luffy. Another Luffy. Come on. Come on. He's cool. He's cool at least, I guess. Let's talk about his skills, because people are gonna want to know. Inflict 518% damage to one enemy, and if the enemy is DPS class, inflict an additional 20% damage. That additional damage thing I've never really understood. It just seems like a weirdly unnecessary conditional, but fine. Okay, whatever. At the start of the next turn, convert one random bubble to a skill bubble with 10% base damage, and for 2 turns boost this unit's attack by 22%. So a slightly altered version of a skill that we already have in Julius Novachrono, because he is green, he is a limited, and he creates a skill bubble at the start of next turn with a low base damage. So I don't really get that. I think Luffy's ultimate attack is not that different either. Like, it's attack instead of ultimate attack damage. That's about it. But okay, the passive reduces bleed damage received for this unit by 4 to 20. So really seems like they're leaning into bleed damage as like as a proper debuff moving forward that we're going to be seeing a lot. Boost this unit's ultimate attack damage by 20% unconditional. That's nice. And during turns 1 to 5 of the adventure, before this unit's turn, convert 2 blue and heart bubbles to rainbow. Actually a really nice passive. I know it's turn restricted, turns 1 to 5, but that means if you use him in any sort of PvP, he's golden. Any standard farmable stage, he's going to have that basically the entire time, because you'll clear the stage and he will have already... You'll normally clear a standard farmable stage between turns 1 to 5, so... That's cool. You know what? All in all, really nice. Bleed isn't that common yet, but if it is moving forward, then hey, there you go. He's a nice unit. He has a nice front line. I'm not gonna question that. I can question his choice as much as I like, but his kit is nice. His support. If the character this unit supports is green, copy their support skill, boost the base damage of 11 skill bubbles by 13%. Luffy is the final copy support. We already had Crollo for blue, we already had Kenshiro for yellow, and we already had Itachi for red, and now we have Nightmare Luffy for green. I would argue he is by far the least iconic character, not character, because Luffy is probably the most iconic character there, but I would argue Nightmare Luffy is the least iconic copy support because it's fucking Nightmare Luffy. But his kit is good and the support is obviously good. Copy is a good archetype. It hasn't changed since it first came out pretty much. I mean, I think they made some slight tweaks to the amount of skill bubbles boost or whatever, but I mean, it's pretty much the same. They haven't added much extra, so it's cool. It's cool that we've got it. It does make sense for him as a character because he does have other people's shadows put inside him, so he kind of has their skills, so that makes sense. It all makes sense and it's all good, and he's a good unit, and if you want to pull for him, don't let me stand in your way. Go for it. Fucking go for it. Yeah. Let's move on. The Standard Gacha. Now this, the new Heroes Gacha, 17 million downloads. For me, this is the absolute strongest part of this event. We got 3 Standard Gacha units. Now you could make your arguments about Tokiyami because we know My Hero Academia's got an event in less than a month. Well, in a month, I guess, after this releases. We know My Hero Academia is going to have an event, and maybe he should have been part of that. And there is definitely some big question marks about that event because we know it's My Hero Academia and World Trigger, and that has to last an entire month. And considering how some events have had pacing issues this year, understandably, people could be a little bit apprehensive about how that will be handled. I know I am, but okay, he's here. It's fine, and he's fine. He's a cool character, a cool sprite. I'm fine with it. The other 2 characters fit the theme beautifully. He fits the theme pretty well too. But the character selections themselves, I'm very happy to see. I know Lennerly Lee is a version 2, but it's a good version 2. It's a version 2 of a unit we haven't had any other versions of since launch, and it's a very nice update to her sprite. Similarly to Yukanda when we got a V2, very nice update to the sprite. We're getting a very good kit to go with it. I'm not upset about that at all. Tokoyami, again, very nice kit. A character that a lot of people have wanted to see added to the game. Makes sense. And the big one is Surara from Nora Rise of the Yokai clan, which for me, she is one of the ones that you would say is a surprising exclusion, a glaring omission. I've talked about glaring omissions in this game before. Just characters that absolutely should have been in the game by now and aren't in the game. And now she's in the game. And that's cool. And there's definitely loads more characters that fall into that group of like, bro, how is this one character from the main roster not here yet? That doesn't make any sense. But she's here. And let's talk about their actual skills. The sprites are all fantastic. All three of them, absolute home runs. Tokoyami is obviously quite simple because his design's quite simple. But all in all, very nice. Very nice. But yeah, the skills. Let's start off at the top. Lennerly Lee. So 500% damage based on this unit's recovery to one enemy. Charge your legend sum engaged by 4%, 14% in tower. And for 2 turns, boost this unit's recovery by 90%. Now, I've noticed a lot more of this do a much bigger boost in tower thing showing up. And I can only assume, because a lot of the time, the change is mostly inconsequential. Not so much here, but in a lot of other cases, the change in percentage or whatever is somewhat inconsequential. And it does kind of feel like they're not a unit you would use in that role normally. And I do think sometimes they put that in there just so people will use those characters during boost week. Which, as far as we know, there currently isn't a boost week listed for this event. But that's most likely because they messed up the boost weeks before when they broke tower so people could see which teams they were coming up against in random. So it messed up the rankings. So they're reprinting those weeks that they had played through previously. So the boost week might come later. That's just how it is. But it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. And for 2 turns, boost this unit's recovery by 19%. So a bit of a hitter. Not a bad front line for yellow, actually. Bit of a hitter. Recovery-based damage. And most importantly, that Legend Summon charge. 4% doesn't seem like a lot, but seeing as you could just fire off the Legend Summon over and over, could be quite nice. And the passive, before this unit's turn, convert 1 block bubble to yellow. Notice. Unconditional, very nice. And boost this unit's recovery by 28%. I still prefer like a resistance or something, but it's okay, it's okay. All in all, frontline, not bad. She's not a bad hitter for a frontline yellow. For a standard gacha. The support, convert a random bubble to a skill bubble, convert 5 red and 4 block bubbles to yellow, and for 1 turn reduce damage received for yellow team members by 800, 45, 500 in tower. So that support is another one of those ones that has a little effect in tower, and I would dare say is going to be quite good for tower. Not just giving you a skill bubble, but giving you a lot of board control, including taking control of some block bubbles, and that additional damage reduction for 1 turn. Yeah, it's a nice support. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, pretty good. she's pretty good. Let's talk about Tokoyami next. Green unit. Inflict 455% damage that ignores damage reduction to 1 enemy and inflict 19k. 19k? Yeah, 19k fixed damage to all enemies. Will be good for certain stages where they would be trying to slow you down. If they have multiple different units getting in your way, he's going to help deal with those. If they have damage reduction, he's going to help deal with that. But generally speaking, I don't think that's particularly strong as a front line. But okay, passive, reduce bleed damage received for this unit and boost this unit's attack by 18%. The bleed damage reduction is not that much smaller than Luffy's at 3880. And unconditional attack boost. It's not bad. Again, bleed not super common just yet, especially not in stages. But yeah, going forwards, that could be quite good. I'm not a big fan of... I do wonder if the ultimate is because like Gekko Moria might have some kind of mooks on his stage or something getting in your way, and that's why you did a fixed damage to all enemies. Other than that, I don't know what that's there for, and that's not really something I'm that interested in, but passive is strong at least, so there's that. The support, convert 3 heart bubbles and 1 red bubble to green. For 3 turns, boost the ultimate attack damage of this unit's body by 49%, and for 3 turns, boost the ultimate attack damage of green team members by 18%. Again, this kind of falls into that role of we'll see more use as we gain access to double tappers in different slots than just slot 1. Simply because the more opportunities you have to use supports, the more room there's going to be for units that just boost and don't give you stuff like skill bubbles or clear block bubbles or whatever. I'm not a fan of these supports, but I know some people do use them, and I know there are some very effective strategies in PvP where you just stack up a whole load of supports and boosts and stuff, and then you just go crazy. So yeah, I can see it having some use, but it's not for me, not really. And then next up we have our Yuki Onna, which is Surara. I did kind of hope to see another Yuki Onna show up in this event, just an evolve for a stage or something for Yukime from Nube, but can't win them all. can't win them all. So let's talk about her skills. Inflict 450% damage to one enemy, and if the enemy has a barrier, inflict an additional 100% damage. Again, barrier, not super common, so that's not great. But also, for 2 turns, freeze all enemies, and the freeze starts at 17k, add an additional 10k each turn. That is not bad, considering that is an AoE freeze, which I assume is because the boosted damage part is the barrier, and barrier just doesn't show up that often. Not too shabby, not too shabby. I know, again, as much as barrier doesn't show up that often, stages with multiple enemies don't show up that often, so I do get that argument, but I still think it's cool. I still think it is cool. And the passive, reduce the number of turns of weakening for this unit by 2. Again, weakening is super common, and so that is good. And when your HP is 80% or less, boost this unit's attack by 23%. It's conditional, but below 80% is not too bad. So it's okay. And then the support. Convert 4 yellow bubbles and 2 heart bubbles to rainbow. For 3 turns, inflict 1 enemy with freeze. The freeze starts at 7k, and every turn after add an additional 30k. This is the blue version, the freeze version of Avdol, and a lot of people use Avdol, so I think you will agree that this is pretty good. I think it's pretty good. So tempting. The whole side gacha is tempting to me. I think I might do a small video where I summon maybe 4 multis on this, and then like 1 multi on Luffy, and maybe 1 multi on that cheeky little Hiei banner. But we'll see on that. Yeah, side gacha's strong for me. It's quite strong. I think the skills, for me, Sorara is the most interesting one, but there's some uses for these for sure. Then we have the defeat gacha, which you should never summon on, and something that I think a lot of people have been noticing is the appearance of Sanemi in a lot of side gacha, and I think this is an example of the devs. They've made a mistake here. They've made 2 versions of Sanemi that at first glance are quite difficult to tell apart, but even if you know what you're looking for in order to tell them apart, they're the same type. And if they're showing up on banners like this, and you're a new player, you might not be able to tell the difference. And I think it's not like, oh, it's false advertising, it's illegal, whatever. But you're a dick for doing it. That's what I think. And I think that whole thing about, oh yeah, but like when we give like a character a new unit, we don't want to just show him with like torn up clothes or whatever, and we don't want to show like blood or wounds or whatever. We just want to show like different forms and stuff like that. I think at a certain point you do find yourself saying, okay, that Sanemi and this Sanemi, admittedly, yes, one of them has the pinwheel and one of them doesn't, but it's bro, it's egregious. That's what it is. And as tempting as this gacha might be to summon on, don't do it. Then we have the Defeat Ryzen limited gacha, which if you're gonna summon on a defeat gacha, this is the one. This is the one, because it's got a bunch of limiteds on it, and it's got Hiei, who is wonderful. And like I said, I'll probably do the 500 on this. And then this gacha, which you shouldn't summon on. And then Gyu Tomioka returns, which, I mean, of course, that at least makes sense, because, you know, obviously, water breathing, Sabito. If you want to know more, read Kimetsu no Yaiba, Sakonji, Orokodaki. It all comes together. It all interweaves. So if you want to learn more, read the book. That's cool. It's cool that he's coming back. I already got him, so you know. And then the sales, I might as well go through and talk about how some of these sales kind of suck and some of them are alright. My first, like, my quick fire reviews on each of these packs. This one is not great. This one, pretty damn good. This one of the best. This one is very, very risky. But if you like pulling lots of 5 stars and you like pulling limiteds, then hey, fair enough. This one, I don't like them. Don't buy these ones. And there's more self packs, which we'll talk about a little bit later. The monthly stamp card update. Finally, they have revealed that we will be getting a limited choice ticket fragment every month. It's going to be part of that stamp thing, which is just like when you clear a stage the first time each day, it will show you clearing a stamp and you get some rewards. It's going to be part of that from August. So every 10 months, you will get a free limited choice ticket, which you can go nuts on. There'll be loads of characters on there, and you probably don't have most of them, so awesome. Then we have the Day of the Week Medal Exchange update. They're going to be adding some new tickets in there. I don't know what the extent of that is going to be. I don't know how far into... Is it going to come into this year? Probably not. Is it going to be end of last year? I guess so. I don't know. I don't really buy the tickets from this store that often, but cool. I guess it's cool. Daily free gacha update. This is nice. It doesn't help me that much because I'm only missing one 2020 unit, but again, that fucking Sanemi. But yes, once per day now. It was 2 per day for a little while. It's once per day now. And every 7 days you'll get a 5-star. So every 7 summers you get a 5-star. Really nice. Really, really nice. And then this is the coming soon stuff. We'll quickly review this. This format is not confirmed, but it could be subject to change. But typically these gacha are quite nice for beginners, but all in all, I do highly recommend spending your rubies on limited gacha instead of gacha like this, as tempting as these are. And again, Sanemi is version 2 this time. The switching and the change... I don't like it. And then the sale packs. Don't buy this. This one's okay. This one's pretty cool, actually, because these are seasonal units which come back virtually never. Once, maybe a year, maybe twice a year if you're lucky. Very, very rare. And this is a super cheap pack, so it's not too bad. And then this pack, don't buy this. And then this is the Otakojuku gacha, which is, I guess, warming us up for the feature festival, and that comes with a ticket pack as well. And to be honest, I wouldn't buy that, and I wouldn't summon on that, but still pretty cool. If you want Otakojuku units, I highly recommend you wait until the feature festival comes out, but that's fine. And then that's it. That's the end of the news post. If you want to support the website, please help support us through Ko-fi. Link in the description. Every little helps. Keeps the website up and running. These news posts are a lot of work, so any help is much appreciated. But that's it. That's everything. That's everything from this news post, and that's everything I have to say. Hope you guys enjoyed. And like I said, I'll do the summons in a little while. A little while. Goodbye.